Hey peeps, welcome to another episode of Legacy Speaks. Thank you so much to those who've been providing feedback and questions and comments. It lets me know that you guys are really listening and it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. One question in particular that I've been getting recently. So wait, your background is in allied health but you've been working in PR for the past 2 years? How did that happen? And I'm so glad you asked because you're right. Although I graduated with 2 bachelor's degrees in communication sciences and disorders and psychology, I was able to transition into the entertainment industry and work with notable brands such as BET, BMI, DreamWorks, Aspire TV, TV One, and so much more. So today I'm going to talk about how I was able to transition into the entertainment industry without going to school for PR or mass comm. And honestly, these tips and tricks can be applied to any field of interest. First things first, let's talk about research. Learn more about your industry of interest. This includes learning the lingo, educating yourself on the ins and outs of the trade, and just keeping up with the trends that are happening within that field. Treat it like an independent study or a self-directed course. Find out who and what are the top heavy hitters of the industry and then compile key information about them. Success leaves clues and there's nothing new under the sun. So explore what makes them a unique and successful brand and begin to incorporate those characteristics into your own personal development. Before relocating to Atlanta, I honestly didn't know what niche I wanted to get into. All I knew was that I wanted to work in the music industry by helping quality artists get the exposure that they really deserved. I was and still am tired of seeing truly great artists being overlooked by individuals who continue to pump out trash music. From there, I began to Google all of the notable publicists, record labels, and production companies here in Atlanta. And essentially, I compiled a list of all the things that they've done, projects that they've worked on, people that they've worked with, their successes, everything. That helped me prepare for the next phase, which is connect. Now when it comes to connecting, I want you guys to understand something. Network with a purpose. I don't know how many times I have to tell people this, but it's so important to network with a purpose. It's more than just going to a routine event where you're just standing around and talking to people pretending like you actually care about what they have to say. Get engaged, formulate some thought-provoking and interesting questions that will help you acquire those resources and build alliances with other people. Y'all probably are like, what is this, Game of Thrones? Yes, be strategic when navigating these social settings. Don't be that weird person who just comes for food, passes out business cards, and then leaves like a thief in the night. Share your story, casually reference your skill set, and let your personality shine. Before you know it, they'll be so interested and willing to help you because of your positive vibe. And honestly, you don't even have to be at a networking event. It could just come up in conversation. When I first moved here at Atlanta, I used to hang out with my high school friend Henry while he was at Clark Atlanta University. He put me down with his homeboy Leon, who used to work with Selena Johnson. And the reason why I'm laughing is because as I'm listening to myself, it's like, bro, your homeboys, like black people, whatever. Yeah, so Leon used to do work with Selena Johnson, and after talking to him about my goals and interests, he put me down with a woman named Lily Mae who was actually having an event that weekend and needed volunteers. And I'm so happy that I was brave enough to be able to share my story with him, because looking back at it now, that conversation is what literally sparked all of this off. Also, social media is such a powerful tool because we have the opportunity to be connected to the lives of those who we aspire to work with. This keeps you in the know of exclusive events and upcoming opportunities. As a matter of fact, my first industry event was a T.I. Hustle Game party during BET Hip Hop Awards weekend, and that came from following PR Primas on Instagram. Last but not least, emails will always be a great go-to. Create a quick blurb about who you are, the purpose of the email, and what you could potentially do in exchange for an opportunity to gain experience and knowledge from them. Don't just copy and paste. Make sure that it's tailored to the person that you're contacting. And it doesn't have to be extravagant, but you definitely need to use email etiquette. Make sure that you're using correct grammar, correct spelling, everything. It's also important to get straight to the point within the first 5 sentences, because 9 times out of 10, the person who's reading your email really doesn't have time to read it. And honestly, we live in an era where we automatically skip anything that looks like a dissertation. A lot can happen from an email, a possible phone conversation, or even a full-on face-to-face meeting, so make it count. So I want to jump ahead on myself in the connect phase because it tends to overlap a little bit with this next concept. And we know that with anything that we want in life, we have to work for it. We have to grind. We have to put in that work in order to get it. Like Rihanna said, you better work. Hit the ground running, grind. You have to have that make it happen mentality. Going back to volunteering, don't knock volunteering because you're literally gaining insight on how things happen from behind the scenes. There are plenty of people who need help to pull off major events and productions. Sometimes you may not have the money to pay for those fancy courses, workshops, or conferences, but remember that your time is currency. Your willingness to help someone that you're interested in working with can create doorways for future collaborations and connections. I already had experience with writing and coordinating events, so I had a good enough foundation to stand on. However, things like managing red carpet, influencer acquisition, and product placement were pretty new to me, but going the extra mile helped me hone my public speaking and leadership skills while also preparing me for future endeavors. Volunteering led me to interning, which led me to paid gigs and eventually paid positions in a long-term network of outstanding professionals. Now, there's a disclaimer to this. Don't feel obligated to have to always volunteer or intern for things, because there are people out there who will automatically assume that you'll always do things for free. Know your worth. At a certain point, I encourage you to begin leveraging your skills, knowledge, and services for payment. So yes, volunteering is great, but don't let people take advantage of you. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Legacy Speaks. Like I mentioned, these steps can be applied to a number of industries. It's just another way for you to get ahead and get you the experience that you need to succeed. Let's keep the conversation going. What are some tips and tricks that you use to break into your specific industry? Don't forget to comment down below, because you never know who you could be potentially helping. Please be sure to click that subscription button below, and don't forget to like, comment, and share. Until next time.